morning to you, Kenyan citizens. Welcome. This is the Current Affairs segment, your trusted source for the latest news, insightful discussions, and impactful stories shaping our nation and beyond. I'm Angela Kabete, and together with Kimotho, we'll dive into the latest headlines and uncover the truth behind the news of what has been happening, that is, in our country and beyond. So stay tuned as we break it down right here, right now. Kimotho, a very good morning to you.
Good morning.
How are you doing? You're well? Salimia watazamaji.
Na kuwashukuru sana kwa vile mko pamoja na sisi sana ili tuangalie what has been happening.
Ni yapi yaliyomo?
Yes.
And it is always an honor to give them, that is the verse of the day, you know, an encouragement to keep you moving for the whole of the day.
Yeah.
And the verse of today comes from, that is Philippians 4 verse 8, and the read it says, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Whatever is right. Because we're supposed, you know, as individuals to reflect on the righteousness of God, whatever is true. Alafu inaendelea inasema, that is whatever is inaanzia inasema whatever is noble. No, we're supposed to think of what is honorable and dignified in the presence of God. Yes. What do you have to say on that?
Ukiona vile ambavyo inasema whatever is you have to keep many other things that are there. And at the end of the pale ndio if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. So unaona pia kuna ile liwe ambayo imetupatia ya kwamba wakati tunafanya mambo yale ambayo utakuwa ukifanya during the day, you know, in your own activities, in everything, you should now consider such things ambazo ziko pale, because wakati pia unafanya vitu na sober mind, you always do things in the right way. Na pia wakati unafanya mambo in pure, that is you know, itakuwa with a good spirit, na kutakuwa na mambo ya kukwazana na mtu yoyote. So it is something ambayo iko sawa, na pia inatupatia an option, because pale inatupatia an option ya kuangalia haya mambo yote na haija specify ni nini. So in everything that you do in your career, in your education, in whatever you do, make sure that you consider here is option ambazo ziko pale.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also for whatever is lovely, you know, we're supposed to appreciate what is beautiful, pleasing, and things that inspire, that is love and peace. Yes. That goes to our country, right?
Yes, kabisa.
Yeah, and that is the verse all the day. Yeah. And then let's dive into what has been happening with Kimotho, because a lot has been happening in our country, right?
A lot.
And I have the Daily Nation with me.
I have the Standard newspaper.
Okay, and at the Daily Nation today, you can see Mr. Kimotho, tumekuwa tukisema kuna the broad-based government, matunda yake ni yapi? I can see here they have violated, that is Ruto, Raila, Ruto is our president, kwa watu ambao wajui.
Hiyo, nasikia hiyo, kila mtu anajua hiyo.
It's common to all.
Hiyo kila mtu anajua.
Okay, yes. Ruto, Raila, first budget, and you can see they say that the Finance Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Bahati presents his maiden expenditure estimates for the broad-based government. That story, will check it out. It is in page 6 and 7, and wameka some of the winners for the budget, that is the 2025-2026. And then I can see here Mr. Kimotho, there's the story that we'll be checking out. That is the cover-up. Senators shocked by revelation that CCTV footage at the Central Police Station has been tampered with, and they are saying that is Langat under siege. Hiyo ni ile mambo ya Homa Bay, Mr. Kimotho. Yes. That is a story that will check it out. In mwenye wahusika, that is Albert Ojwang, who is a teacher and a blogger. He was murdered. That is what we'll be checking out. That is on the Daily Nation, and other stories. What do you have there?
I can still see that you still have the same story. The issue now to do with the issue of Ojwang. Naona iko hapa imeangazia all these pages. You can see now pia tuko na the outcomes ambazo zilifanyika kule Senate jana. Na pia tuko na, I can also see John Bahati here because of number of budget, na pia naona control of budget pia yuko hapa. So those are some of the among the other stories ambazo ninaziona into the Standard newspaper today. Okay,
yeah. And now let's start with the Standard. What do you have there? The top story.
So the top story ambayo iko hapa, naona wameandika the killer squad and the picture ambayo iko hapa ni the deputy IG that is Langat and you know in a standard that is starting out from page 4 you can see now the newspaper is trying now to give us a highlight on what happened yesterday because jana tuliona that is the CS walikuwa summoned pamoja na the Inspector General na pia na the DCI boss na pia the IPOA walikuwa pale Senate ili kuweza kujibu maswali ya senators ambao walikuwa wanauliza pale because they wanted to know what really happened now to this young man na kwa sababu kulikuwa na mambo mengi, kulikuwa na maswali mengi ambayo hawa wajumbe walikuwa wanataka kuuliza. There are some shocking stories ambazo zilitokana na haya mambo. Ninaona hapa kuna some of the highlight. The senators are shocked to learn that the CCTV cameras at Central Police Station were that is disabled when Albert Ojwang was killed. Senators accused the National Police Service of intending to cover up the killings of Ojwang by saying that he hit his head on the wall. That we also see that kuna another statement. Interior Cabinet Secretary, that is Kipchumba Murkomen, was taken to task over the manner in which the matter was handled by the police. We also see so that Kakamega Senator Boni Halwale asked that is Murkomen to resign since he seems overwhelmed with their responsibility. Inspector General of Police, that is Douglas Kanja, said the circumstance under which Albert Ojwang was killed are under investigation. The Director of Criminal Investigation, that is Mohammed Amin, said that the complainant by the Deputy Inspector General, that is a police, that is Eliud Langat, was logged, that is India alikuwa complainant. You also see that Homa Bay Senator Moses Kajwang asked if the other suspect arrested are alive or in a ditch somewhere. We also have now the other issue of IPOA, that is Vice Chairperson, that is Anne Wanjiko, say that the documents they got show that Ojwang arrived in Nairobi safely. So hii ni maswali mengi ambayo yanahusiana na huyu that is that one young man ambaye alikuwa pia ni mwalimu pale
and also a blogger.
Yeah, and also a blogger. Na ni kitu ambayo imeleta mtazamko mkali sana because now they wanted to know exactly what happened. Na ninaona hii story that is imeweza kuangaziwa kwa that is kwa standard, that is from page 4 to page 5. Na pia ninaona pia upande huu mwingine pia the opposition leaders they want Langat arrested. Langat ndio deputy ndio mdogo wa IG na yeye ndiye alikuwa complainant kwa sababu unajua lazima kuwe kuna yule ambaye ana complain, na kulikuwa na maswali ambayo yaliulizwa sana pale, kwa nini huyu kijana aliweza kutolewa that is all over from Homa Bay akaweza kuletwa Nairobi. Na kulingana na that is na yale majibu ambayo iliweza kutolewa pale ni kwa sababu yule ambaye alicomplain the complaint ili launch huko Nairobi, so he had to be travel up to Nairobi ndio sasa hii kesi iweze that is iweze investigate you from there. And we also now also saw that also yesterday that the Inspector General had to apologize because of the earlier report ambayo alikuwa ametoa. There is an earlier report ambayo alikuwa ametoa that that is huyu Ojwang that he hit his head on the wall and akaweza kukufa. So he apologized on that information that he was given by his officers kwa sababu kuna now the autopsy report ambayo ilitoka ambayo ilionyeshana now what really happened to the what led now to the death of this young man. So those are some of the stories ambazo ninaona zinachipuka kwa gazeti siku ya leo.
You know, I'm wondering, why was he apologizing, Mr. Kimotho? Na ni alitoa information.
Yeah, he was tasked to apologize by the by the Speaker of a Senate because he is the person yetu ndiye alitoa the official statement of the National Police Service. Na this information kulingana na the IG yeye mwenyewe alisema hii information alipatiwa na the other junior officers ambao walikuwa on duty hiyo siku. Then so he was tasked now because now if the information alipatiwa na the junior was incorrect and na address the nation. Na pia kuna one of the senator ambao alisema because now according now to the community ambao Ojwang anatoka if you indicate somebody alikufa kwa sababu ya suicide, kuna ile trauma ambayo iko to the family. So he had now to apologize because the information that he was given was not actually correct, because now he had now to rely on the report ambayo ilitoka na the autopsy report and also the poor report that came out that is later.
And also I can see here on page 1 of the Daily Nation have the same Mr. Kimotho. Na kuna umeka sentiments zimetolewa na watu. I can see the former AG Justin Muturi alisema we are calling not just for resignation but the arrest and the arraignment in the court of Langat within 24 hours for issuance of this statement. And then kuna Homa Bay Senator Moses Kajwang alisema you cannot be in office still having authority yet you are the person being investigated. Kenyans want to see him stepping aside and going to the police station to record a statement. And then you have the DCI boss Mohamed Amina Sema, I'm urging this house that the mood in the country should not be used to victimize Langat. Let us wait for the investigation to establish the circumstances under which Juan died. Those are some of the sentiments.
Yeah, because pia hapa naona pia also the same thing. The opposition leaders pia wame criticize the killings na pia they want the arrest that is of Langat. Na pia ni maswali ambayo iliweza kuibuka pia jana, na waliweza kuulizwa kwa nini bado huyu ambaye ako indicated, kwa nini bado haja resign, kwa nini bado hajaachishwa kazi. So we are still waiting, that is now for the information and also for the investigation. And pia najua pia leo bado kutakuwa na the same discussion kule Senate. We are really hoping that the truth will be found, and those who are found to be ambao walikuwa involved they should be apprehended and they should be arraigned in court.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I will, from that, Mr. Kimotho, let's dive into the national news, matters to do with the economy. You can see here that Ruto Raila first budget. Can you say this is because of the broad-based government?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. And they're saying our Finance Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi presents his maiden expenditure estimates for the broad-based government. That story is in page 6 and 7. Let's check it out. But before that, at a glance, when we highlight that is some of the winners for the budget. That is the defense budget. When we get that is to 1 billion, Mr. Kimotho. Okay. And then we have the recruitment officers wamekiwa 2 billion. Operations in Somalia imekiwa 5 billion. That is security operation imekiwa 6 billion. Okay. The basic education imekiwa 5.9 billion. So hiyo ni examination, administration and invigilation.
Okay.
At least wameka pesa ya mtihani, Mr. Kimotho.
Wamefanya vizuri ile reassurance. Kulikuwa na stress sana ambayo ilikuwa imechipuka.
Yeah.
Yes.
Especially from parents.
Yes.
And then we have the UHC workers, wamekiwa that is when it comes to employment of staff, wamekiwa that is 1.1 billion. And then when it comes to health workers, better, wamekiwa that is 1 billion. And then that is the affordable housing project. For affordable housing board imekuwa 1 billion. And then for casual laborers wamekiwa 1.5 billion, Mr. Kimotho. But I'm wondering, if pesa wananchi wanakuwa taxed, mbona inekiwa pesa mingi hivi?
I think that's something maybe now we need now to get more information from the CS wakati atakuwa anasoma budget, because there are some of the projects tunajua maybe ziko na ile self drive. For example, kama vile ambavyo umesoma hapo ya housing, tunajua ni tax ambayo inakuwa collected, so we are really hoping maybe kuna some of the explanation, maybe kuna some bit of boosting, maybe top up pale kidogo ili ndio waweze kuimplement na kulingana ile time frame ambao wako nayo, so it could be something else.
Okay, yeah. Now the public universities, when it comes to infrastructure support to the public universities, wamekiwa 600 million, and then that is when it comes to the medical equipment to buy special health kits, wamekiwa 500 million. Now let's check that is stories is page 6 and 7. Okay. I can see here mwenye ako hapa Mr. Kimotho, that is the National Treasury and Economic Planning Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi.
Yeah.
And they are saying that when the Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi makes his way to Parliament this afternoon, he'll be entering a familiar territory after having worked there for 15 years. And they say this time round, however, Mr. Mbadi will not be a legislature, but a member of executive ready to present the budget estimates and the government revenue raising measures for the financial year, that is the 2025-2026. And they're saying last year budget was made by Gen Z and anti-government protests, and President William Ruto caved into pressure and declined to sign the finance bill. So let's see. And I can see bado Mr. Kimotho hapa the CS amesema sometimes the people just need to understand what a proposal means. They may oppose it just because they don't understand it. That is what he has said, Mr. Kimotho.
Unajua hata akisema hivyo akisema hata watu is just a proposal, but the effect applies to the common mananchi kule, because the effect ni yeye ana feel na at the same time ni yeye ata participate kwa kuensure that is kwa ile revenue ambao wana expect ikuwe collected, that is yeye ndiye atataxiwa. So hata akisema namna hiyo lazima wananchi wakuwe worried. Yes, yeah.
And now bado make us other estimates for the budget zesikuwa nimesoma Mr. Kimotho. That is electrification imekiwa 950 million, and then that is the basic education hiyo tumesema imekiwa that is 5.9 billion.
Okay.
And then that is kuna reductions, so make a reductions. Kuna that is from the government component of the development budget, that is reductions in 3.49 billion. And then when it comes to that is 3 billion from the secondary school capitation. These are the reductions, Mr. Kimotho.
Yes.
And then that is 2 billion from the JSS capitation. And then there is 1.3 billion from the government sponsored students in private universities. And then kuna 900 million from primary school capitation. 250 million from the ICT integration in secondary schools. 1 billion from Kenya Hunger Safety Net programming. 600 million from the National Social Safety Net. And 2 billion from the Emergency Chronic and Critical Illness Fund. And I'm wondering, mbona imekuwa reduced, Mr. Kimotho, especially to do with health? I don't know why.
Yeah, nafaa iongezwe.
Yeah, so 2 billion imetolewa hapo. Then there is 1.5 billion from contracted services cost KRA. And then there is 500 million from the subsidies to finance private enterprise. And the last one, that is 1 billion from the equalization fund. Those are the reductions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Najua pia tunaona hapa pia kuna some of the reduction ambazo zimefanywa. That is kuna the State Department of Irrigation ambayo ilikuwa imeallocated 17.43 billion over the fiscal year. So pia nayo imekuwa reduced. Pia naona pia hapa pia wameanza kuangazia pia upande wa education. Pia that is the basic education also suffered that is a cut, because kuna ile allocation ambayo ilikuwa imewekwa that is ya 138 billion na saizi imerudishwa to 126 billion. So that is inamaanisha kuna some of the departments ambazo zitakuwa na cut. Na pia kuna other departments that is ambazo ninaona pia zimeangazia hapa, kama kuna the allocation of the office of the president, that is allocation yake, and that is 5.4 billion. Na kwanza hii ni kuongezea imeongezewa kwa sababu initially ilikuwa 4.5 billion, imeongezewa hadi 5.3 billion shillings. Na pia ninaona pia that is the state house has also been given that is 8.5 billion. That is from 8.3. So unaona pia hapa pia nao kuna ile ambao walikuwa nao pia wakaweza kuongezewa kidogo. And pia kuna some of the highlights ambazo ziko hapa. Ninaona that is the budget kuna 4.24 trillion. That is these are the total budget, of which we kuna 1.7 trillion that is a recurrent. kuna that is 7 billion zinaenda kwa development. Kuna that is 4 or 5 ambazo zinaenda kwa that is counties equitable share. So the budget will be financed through the revenues, while the balance between the revenues and the budget, that is we also have the physical deficit, which will be financed through borrowing. Na pia kuna revenues, that is ordinary revenues and ministerial appropriation in aid, ambayo pia watachangia, that is 3.36 that is a trillion. Kuna ordinary revenue ambazo, so hizi revenue ambazo tuna collect ni 2.75 trillion. So hii ndio ile revenue from the taxes. Zile zote tunalipa kwa citizen, kwa wapi unataxiwa, kwa kwa import taxation, that is kwa ile license ambao watu wanalipa. Kwa hizo collection zote ambazo zinafanywa, ukiangalia sasa inaonyesha tuko na hiyo capability ya 2.7 trillion. So we are wananchi pia wamejaribu. Yes, and that's wakati now the CS anasema ati watu wasishtulie, is just a documentation ambayo wamepresent. Lazima wakuwe na ile wasiwasi, because they are really doing their best, because you can imagine a nation ambayo tunaweza sisi wenyewe ku raise the revenue up to 2.7 trillion. We are not doing that bad. At least hapo tumejaribu kabisa. Na pia kuna, so pia hapa now the CS pia anasema sasa kuna ile domestic ambayo atafanya borrowing of that is 591.5 billion, na pia kuna ile 284 billion which will be borrowed from now the international lenders. So hii pia ni mikakati ambayo yako nayo ya kuweza that is kuimplement ile budget ambayo atasoma pale. So but that's what tunasema, it still goes back to the mwananchi, sababu yeye ndio bado, hata kama hizi madeni ambazo that is hii borrowing ambayo ataenda kufanya pale, kuna ile interest ambayo iko pale. The interest lazima mwananchi ndiye ataweza kuilipa. So watu wataangalia sana hii budget yake, because the things that maybe people ama kulingana ile kitu ambayo maybe angepea watu hope nayo is just a reduction of some of the expenses ambazo tunaona pale. Hiyo pia inaweza tusaidia sana, because there are some of the key ministries kama education bado tuna this nafikiria sisi tunaipigia debe sana, especially kwa education, na pia kuna mambo ya health. Especially mambo ya health tunaipigia debe sana, wazidi kuiongezea pesa, because wakishughulikia health na pia shughulikia education, nafikiria yale mambo mengine pia hata kwa mabaya sana. So we are really waiting now to see now the budget ikisomo, na pia tuone vile ambavyo ataweza kutupatia mpango mwafaka.
Watu wanangoja Kimotho kwa hamu na gamu kabisa. Anyway, from matters to do with the economy, Mr. Kimotho, let's dive into the national news. That is matters to do with the IEBC. Legal queries. Maturi says president disregards rule of law, and they're saying Ruto ignores, that is, our president ignores court order and appoints new IEBC officials. And they're saying that Ethicon becomes poll agency boss in Gazette notice dated that is June 10. And President William Ruto has appointed new commissioners for the Electoral Agency and Defiance of Court Orders. That is, Mr. Erastus Edung Ethicon is the new independent electoral and boundaries chairperson, that is in the Gazette, a notice that is in June 10. And the president also appointed the registrar of political parties, that is Anderito Hassan Nur and Hassan Nur Hassan, Francis Odhiambo Adol, Fahima Arafat Abdallah, Moses Mukwana, and lastly Mary Sorobit as commissioners. And they're saying that wanna argue, Mr. Kimotho, that firstly the petitioners argued that the 4 of the 7 nominees, Mr. Ethicon, Mr. Nur, Mr. Surbit, and Ms. Nderitu, were ineligible for the selection and nomination because of their previous jobs and political connections. That is one of the reasons that they say, Mr. Kimotho.
Yes.
Secondly, the petitioners argue that the president failed to consult the opposition during the selection process. Those are the reasons in your opinion, Mr. Kimotho.
Okay. So hiyo issue ya that is ya IEBC bado niliona bado imerudi kule kotini, na we are still waiting now for the way forward, but unajua bado time ina elapse, because kuna ile time frame ambayo IEBC wanahitaji just for preparedness. Then the other thing, wakati opposition anasema hawakuhusishwa, haya majina yote, especially now the selection of the selection panel. The selection panel, hizo majina yalikuwa forwarded wakati kulikuwa na ile that is kuna ile agreement ambao walikuwa nayo. That is hata ilifanywa kule Bomas ya the opposition na pia the government. Na the chair alikuwa that is ni former vice president, that is Kalonzo Musyoka, that is pia ikiongozwa na that is the majority leader wa kule parliament, that is Ishongwa. So hao ndio walikuwa na lead, na wakati walikuwa wanachagua hii selection panel, ilikuwa hii selection panel ndio iweze sasa kufanya hii kazi. So wakati pia wanasema hawakuhusishwa, maybe something needs to be explained better, and also who is on opposition, because pia ni kama haijaeleweka sana nani yako opposition. Yes, because it also need to be defined correctly, nani huyo hasa kwa opposition, ndio tuweze kujua. So kuna hii mambo pia naona pia imeangaziwa hapo kwa gazeti la Standard, that is on the issue to do with the IEBC. But the fact remains that it doesn't matter who is in that position, as long as that person does what is needed to the constitution. Because even if hata wakitoka bado wengine wakikuja, bado kutakuwa na complaint. So I don't know now where hii itaendelea hadi lini, because unajua sasa the real issue is time in a elapse. And now the other thing is that wale ambao wanashughulika na haya mambo, they should also ask themselves, what if time that is the IBC kose enough time ya to prepare for election. Now what will happen? How is the constitution now try to define it? Because unajua now hizi ofisi zimekuwa na complaint si tangu saizi, tangu election tuanze kuwa nayo pale, wakati that is tulikuwa na other commissioners ambao walikuwa nao pale. So I think now the best thing they can do, and also now maybe the advice of the court, is to ensure that wale ambao wako pale mambo yamefanyika vizuri. Because kumbuka kuna ile preparedness, kuna ile zile kiti zile the equipment zinafaa ziwe ready, kuna the materials zinafaa ziwe ready, kuna also the budget, because pia tunangetaka kuona kama the CS amepatia ABC enough budget.
And you remember Mr. Kimotho, February ABC walikuwa wanasema they need 60 billion.
Yes. So unajua sasa hii pesa lazima ikuwe inatengewa in each and every physical year. Because sasa wasipopatiwa kwa that is this financial year ambayo inakuja, inamaanisha kuna some of the exercise. Because kama saizi kuna some of the areas ambao hawajafanya by election. Kuna some of the areas hawana MCA, hawana MP, hawana senators, kwa sababu sasa hakuna election, by election ingefanyika pale. Then at the same time, hata kama tunafanya sensitization ya watu wachukue that is the ID, yes wengi wamechukua, but you cannot register as a voter because the system saizi hazijafunguliwa, because we don't have the commissioners. So there are so many other things that kila mtu anafaa aangalie beyond the situation ambayo tuko nayo hapa, because it is very critical. Because if they are not allocated enough resources, and if we continue in the next physical year with the same issues, it means that tutajipata mahali ambapo I don't know vile kutakuwa. So we are really hoping that kila mtu ataweza kuangalia, but the fact remains it is high time you also give tupatie support wale watu ambao wamepatia hizo positions, ili waweze kuimplement mambo vile inafaa, as long as it will be done according to our constitution.
Okay, and let me read sentiment ya mtu hapa, that is Mr. Wanyuiki. Alisema Mr. Kimotho, I think Ruto, having lost significant public support and legitimacy to lead, is fomenting a legal crisis and condition for chaos to ensure that there are no elections in 2027, or if there will be polls, he will force his way through another term regardless of the outcomes of the vote. That is what Mr. Wanyuiki said, Mr. Kimotho.
Yeah, and it is the sentiment of him and maybe of so many other Kenyans. But in this circumstance, it is not the president who has blocked the implementation of the ABC. It is now the court na wale ambao wameenda pale, because now to him in fact the panel ilipatia the 90 days ambao walikuwa nayo, na waka request for more days na wakaongezewa. So the panel ikamaliza kazi yao vile ambavyo walifaa kufanya. Hata kuna mambo maybe hata kama kuna some of the issues ambazo zilichipuka pale, then the same thing iko forwarded kule kwa parliament. Then the court ikapeana guidance ya vile ambavyo waliweza kupatiana. So unless kuwe maybe na challenges in the process, but for now hakuna mahali tumeona that is the president akiweza kublock that is all these processes. That's why we are really saying is that we need more interpretation from our court. We need also the civil society, and also we are the Kenyan ourselves. It is high time that we also need now to support those people who are in that office, because no matter what happens, we still need the IBC. Yes.
Okay, and still on matters to do with that, mambo ya uchaguzi, Mr. Kimotho, and matters to do with finance. I can see here a court rejects petition to have all political parties receive funding. Justice Mugambi holds that the criteria as set out in the law are necessary, safeguarding and protecting public finances. That is what he said. And the Public High Court in Nairobi has rejected a petition seeking to allow political parties to benefit from the political parties fund, ruling that such a move would risk commercializing the country's politics. Is that true?
Unajua kuna ile Political Parties Act ambayo that is iko govern na the ambayo tunaita the ORPP. So hao ndio wako govern kujua how parties wanafaa kupatia this funding, and it has always been there because every tumekuwa tukiona that is almost every year kuna ile that is a pesa ambao parties wanapata depending now na the allocation na the ratio of the representation ambao wako nayo pale. So hiyo ni kitu pia nafaa maybe wanafaa wakae chini hao pamoja na the office of the ORPP na pia the other government office waweze kuangalia, because political parties wamekuwa wakipatia pesa na bado, so it's something that they need now to interpret more. Yes.
Away from that, what do you think?
So we have another story ambayo iko Nyandarua, that is outrage after a woman suffers miscarriage in a cell. So a woman originally that is suffered a miscarriage in a cell in that is Ruanyambu police post in Kinangop, Nyandarua County on Tuesday night. Following the incident that pia kuna angry resident ambao that is waliweza ku raise concern. So the woman had been arrested at the that is a flyover trading center at around that is 11 p.m. Aliweza ku quarantine on at night on Tuesday. Her employer at a bar at the trading center accused her of failing to account for 9,000 shillings. So relatives of the woman said she began experiencing that is the abdominal pain. So na kuwa na ile issue ambayo ilikuwa pale. So that is now the question is still stands, especially now wakati tunaongelea mambo ambayo ilifanyikia huyu kijana. Ukiangalia now this woman alikuwa that is she suffered miscarriage akiwa in a police cell. Na kulingana na pia na vile ambavyo tunafaa before now police wabuku mtu wakiona huyu mtu hayuko kwa hali ambayo haifai, that person is supposed to be taken to the hospital. So this also suffers that is another blow now to our security system, because and that's why now ambao kuna hata kuna wakati tuko tumehighlight hapa mambo pia education na training, because also maybe kuna some of the law enforcement training needs to be impacted to them, because it is very sad now for this young lady ambaye aliweza that is kupata miscarriage. Na ukiangalia ile pesa na kiwa accused hapa is just 9,000 shillings. So it is something ambayo the leaders wame criticize. It is a situation that is unacceptable and something that needs to be done. Na unajua sasa hii sasa ndio ina reduce that is the confidence that we have in our security forces into our nation. So this is something that is very bad. We are really hoping that even the commissioner that is our county something needs to be done, and it shows that kuna loophole in our security forces, because kama a certain thing unajua sasa kama hii ni kitu ambayo unaona just zingine mtu anaweza kuwa rain pale haumuoni vizuri, lakini sasa hii ni kitu ambayo anaona. So why did this lady kwa nini alibukiwa especially usiku? Na ukiangalia pia the accusation ambayo iko hapa, it is something that could have been resolved. So hapa pia pia kuna trauma ambayo sasa iko kwa hii familia na pia also to the lady herself, because of now there are some of police officers kutokuwa that is cautious na pia kutofuata mambo ambavyo inafaa. So we really say sorry to the family, and we are also asking that those responsible the justice should be done to them.
Okay.
Yes.
And away from that, matters to do with tourism, Mr. Kimotho. I can see here real estate investors are ditching Kenya's cost for Zanzibar. That is not a good thing. Because this will affect the stability of our economy, because a few months ago tulikuwa tumesoma that is tourism sector in Mombasa may increase.
Yes. Unajua that is kuna wakati pia tulikuwa tumeangalia mambo ya biashara na investment na tukaona kuna some of the investments zinaenda to a neighboring nation. So it is also high time pia kwa tourism pia nao wafanye nini, that is they have their game. Wangale ni nini hiyo ambayo inafanya that is watu waende to the neighboring nation, ni nini hiyo sisi hatuna na nini tunaweza fanya. Yes,
I hope they take out that, because that is going to affect our economy.
Yes.
And away from matters to do with tourism, you have something there?
So pia naona kuna another question ambayo imeraise hapo kwa gazeti. Do you support decision to revive kazi mtaani? So kazi mtaani, it was one of the best that is a program ambayo especially ilikuwa ni ya kufanya kuleta impact now to the young people. Na tuliona that is now from the regime that is now that is Mwai Kibaki, na pia tukaona pia to the regime now that is the former Jubilee government led by former President NURU Kenyatta. So and it used to keep the young people busy. So it was one of the best. So that's why now tuliona pia now the government of the day wakisema watajaribu kuirudisha. So na unajua pia ilikuwa inaleta motivation, because wakati vijana walikuwa nenda pale wana clear the bushes, wanafanya hiyo clearance na mambo yale mengine, ilikuwa inawasaidia sana na pia ilikuwa inaleta some income. So it is high time, na pia kwa hii budget wakati wanaiangalia tumekuwa tukiona watu wengi wakiuliza itarudi siku gani, because unajua sasa ukiangalia ile the gap wa the youth ambao wako pale ni wengi sana. So they need something to be done, wakuwe busy. Na pia tuliona kuna ile program ambayo inaitwa Nyota program ambayo that is a youth wanafaa apply, that is a ranging from 50,000 onwards wakiendelea kule.
Mr. Kimotho, there's someone who was asking this question on social media. Kazi mtaani kijana alikuwa na that is vijana alikuwa anapatiwa that is 500 per day. When ukifanya kazi. If you give him 500 per day na kazi mtaani alikuwa anauliza Nyota ndio utapatiwa 50,000, Mr. Kimotho.
So it is maybe tunaweza sema maybe kila government kuna ile mtazamo ambao maybe wako nayo, because kuna si wote pia unajua tapia kazi mtaani, si wote ambao wanaweza wata apply na wapate. Kuna wale watakosa. Kuna wengine pia nao already wako na biashara. So wale pia ambao wako na biashara na hawezi enda kwa hiyo kazi mtaani ndio wanapewa option pia ya kuapply for Nyota program. Yes.
Okay, but I don't know to our viewers how they are feeling about it, Mr. Kimotho. 50,500 shillings in a day.
But at least we can say that at least now they are trying, because tunakumbuka that is the government of the day walikuwa criticize now that program so much. So na nafikiria sasa wameona pia inafaa irudi pale, because better hiyo kidogo iko kuliko venye saizi hakuna kitu.
Can you say it is because the pressure of the young people is too much?
Yeah, that could be one of the factor, because the pressure tuliona especially kama last year wakati tulikuwa na finance bill. So many people were agitated with the so many taxes ambazo ziko pale, na pia watu pia walikuwa walishindwa kwa sababu watu wengi sana wameenda kwa the space ya the internet space, the social media space. Na pia tukaona the government kijaribu kuingilia pale, na ni the space ambao the young people wamejicreate here. So kuna ile pressure ambayo ime-amount now to this, because sometimes now they need to do something in order now to be able now to reduce it, because if watu wengi wamegraduate ama watu wengi wamaliza shule ama watu wengi tu wamekaa hivyo na hawana kazi, what do you expect them to be doing? Yes.
Wende wapi?
So ni vizuri sana wafanya wakiwa busy, and especially there is a lot that can be done. Ukiangalia kuna a lot of bushes that is kwa barabara, kuna unblocking of the sewage and so many other things ambazo ziko pale, especially kwa wakati kunanyesha. So kuna kazi mingi sana ambao wanaweza fanya. Yes, and they should also now introduce more of these programs to these young people. Yes.
Yeah, na hata angalia tu nyemetoka universities. Imagine there is someone who is a hawker out there na alifanya useme there is a big course that person did, Mr. Kimotho.
Yes. That's why now we are saying that they need to do so much consideration, because hata hiyo akiwa kwa hiyo biashara yake wakati bado wanangengana kwa sababu amekosa, unakuta bado pale kuna taxes, unakuta bado pale wanasumbuana na the county askaris ambao tunakuwa nao pale. So something needs to be done in order now to reduce all this pressure ambayo imekuwekwa into our nation.
Okay, as we wind up, Mr. Kimotho, what do you have to tell the viewers?
Just want to tell our viewers that there are so many other stories in our newspaper. It is always good now to grab them and see you now more elite ambao ya mambo ambayo yamefanyika pale. We also want also to say thank you for joining us and being with us, and always remember you can give us your comment, na pia bado tunazidi kuwakaribisha kwenye sonship ambayo tuko nao mwezi huu. Karibuni sana.
And talking of the sonship, it will be happening, that is from the 23rd to the 27th this June at Mizpah Prayer Center. This is a gathering that is seeking to restore the hearts of the sons and the fathers together. Mmekaribishwa nyinyi wote. And for more information, please talk to us on 07277665553. I'm Angela Kabete, and you had an amazing time together with Bwana Kimotho, making sure that you stay updated of what is happening, that is in our country and beyond. Don't forget, this segment has been sponsored by Stark Institute Driving School. The courses that they offer, that is ICT, hospitality courses, cosmetology courses, and driving courses. They have various branches in Nakuru County, but the main campus is in Joro Town on the Egerton Joro Road. If you're interested, you can visit their website on www.starkinstitute.ac.ke and register online to get a 10% discount. Still, you can use that is the email at info@starkinstitute.ac.ke. Till next time, bye bye.